What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video, or welcome to the channel. Guys, we got Islam Makhachev moving up to fight Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322, November 15th, MSG, I believe. Great place to have the fight. Let's just hop straight into it. First of all, this card is amazing, but I'll be posting a video later on my predictions for the card. Obviously, I needed a whole video to predict this fight. This matchup, an amazing matchup. Two of one of the most skilled guys in MMA right now, right? Islam Makhachev, I believe, being probably the most skilled guy. Now, this fight is insane. The stakes on this fight are more than people think. I think this is flying under the radar, as in people aren't really calling this a GOAT type fight. I don't hear a lot of people, even the UFC, saying that this is a fight for someone can become a GOAT here. And if Islam Makhachev wins, he could become a GOAT. And it depends how he wins. In my opinion, if Islam Makhachev goes out there and finishes Jack Della Maddalena, I believe he's the GOAT of the sport. Even if he goes out there and wins, he's already in the conversation, right? He's already on the Mount Rushmore. If he goes out there and wins dominantly, man, I think he's just the GOAT. Let's talk about these guys. We got Jack Della Maddalena coming off an amazing performance against Belal Muhammad at UFC 315. Jack Della Maddalena fought before, I believe, UFC 299. Got injured, took a long break. It was supposed to be Belal Muhammad versus I don't even know who they were going to do Belal Muhammad versus. But who was it supposed to be? No, it was supposed to be Belal versus Shavkat at UFC 310. Belal Muhammad pulls out, injured. Shavkat versus Ian Gary happens. Shavkat Rakhmonov gets injured. Belal Muhammad has no one to fight, but they needed him to fight at UFC 315. Jack Della Maddalena, I believe, was booked to fight Leon Edwards. They said, nah, we're going to snatch Jack Della Maddalena from that matchup and put him in a title fight against Belal Muhammad. And Jack Della Maddalena went out there and just outskilled and outclassed and outperformed Belal Muhammad in, I believe, a 4-1 round fight. Amazing performance by Jack Della, showing his great grappling defense and amazing boxing. Now, Islam Makhachev coming off of submitting Renato Moicano in 2 minutes via his famous Darce choke. Obviously, we know Islam Makhachev defended. I'm not gonna tell you guys who these guys are. You guys know who these guys are. Now, let's talk about one thing that I've been really curious on, is the size of these guys. Obviously, we know Jack Della is the biggest guy Islam has ever fought. Jack Della Maddalena, I would say he's a regular size welterweight. A lot of people say, oh, he's big for welterweight. All of these guys are big for welterweight. Kamaru Usman is big for welterweight. Ian Gary is big for welterweight. They're all big for welterweight, So I'm going to say he's a regular size welterweight. And Islam is a 155er who's actually a big 155er. But all the 155ers are big, you know what I'm saying? Islam's about the same size as Paddy Pimblett, right? But Paddy Pimblett's also, I would say, the biggest 155er there is. Now, the size, I'm not too sure, because I'm gonna compare I'm gonna be comparing Belal Muhammad to Islam a lot of the times in this video. Belal Muhammad didn't look small compared to Jack Della Maddalena, right? I believe Belal Muhammad is listed. Let's see his height here. Belal Muhammad. I should have had this up before. He's 5'10", right? And Islam Makhachev, I believe, is listed at 5'10" also. Jack Della Maddalena, I think, is listed at 6 feet. Yeah, 5'11". I believe it's going to be a very similar size difference between Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena, as you saw, which will be in this fight. I think Islam, every picture I've seen, he's been taller than Belal Muhammad. So I think he's actually going to look a little taller than Belal Muhammad. But I don't know about size-wise. I don't know about that. Belal Muhammad's a big guy. But here's the thing. if you guys have seen, let me make sure I'm still recording, just expose myself. If you guys have seen Islam Makhachev in that beach video, Islam Makhachev looks humongous, man. He's definitely put on some good size for this. He's walking around at around 190 pounds. That's what most welterweights walk around at, or 200 pounds. Islam's gonna look built. His frame is gonna look good. He's gonna look like a true welterweight in this fight. So I don't think I don't think this fight comes down to the size. Now, the reason I mentioned the size is because Islam Makhachev has never faced someone this big. Because Jack Della is bigger than Islam, right? He's bigger than anyone Islam has ever fought, right? So can Islam handle a guy who's that rangy and that big? I'm not too sure, right? It comes with its advantages, which I think holy stutter. Oh my god. I think I'm blanking, guys. Jack Della Maddalena, him being bigger, that comes with mostly advantages, if not all advantages, except one thing. It could mean Islam's used to seeing faster guys. He's used to seeing faster guys than Jack Della. Dustin Poirier, like Volkanovski. Those guys are faster. Not by a lot, though. Jack Della is very fast with his boxing. Now, so I think the size, I think Islam's gonna look all right in there. I don't think the size is gonna matter. Now, that could matter in the grappling, and let's talk about the strength. Grappling, man. Who has the advantage here in the grappling? Obviously Islam, and it's not a secret that Islam even said himself he's gonna go in there and try to take Jack Della Maddalena down. Now, can Jack Della defend against Islam? I think yes and no, right? Jack Della has very good takedown defense and very good scrambles, right? I think the scrambles are good and bad for Jack Della in this situation. I think, first, his takedown defense, I don't think it's that crazy, right? And we saw in the Belal Muhammad fight, his takedown defense was pretty good, but he also did get taken down by Belal. And Belal didn't shoot until the second round. And even when he did shoot, his shots weren't even that smart and weren't that calculated. And it seemed like he wasn't even trying that hard for the shot. Of course he was, right? But maybe that's just how Jack Della makes people look. But I'm also looking at the Gilbert Burns fight. Man, you got controlled a lot by Gilbert Burns. I believe it was almost like 10 minutes of control time in that 3-round fight. But as we all know, Jack Della ended up scrambling out, getting up and kneeing Gilbert Burns. Rest in peace. I'm just wondering, like, can Jack Della defend Islam's submissions? I'm not too sure. And here's why. First of all, I don't think Islam can easily just go in there, take down Jack Della, and submit him just like that, right? But I think he could take him down for a couple reasons. First of all, Islam has good shots. He's not the most explosive guy. He's definitely way more explosive than everyone else he's fought, right? And he's definitely more explosive than most of these guys. But if we're comparing him to like crazy wrestlers, he's like an Armin Sarukian, I believe. He's more explosive than Islam. Like a Hamza, obviously, is more explosive than Islam. But look at who I'm comparing Islam Makhachev to, right? Will that affect him? I think that definitely could affect him, because I think in order to beat a guy like Jack Della, in the grappling, you gotta be an explosive grappler, and you gotta have a lot of strength. And when I talk about strength, that's leading into the size conversation. How strong will Islam be? I think he'll be strong enough. If I'm seeing Belal Muhammad control Jack Della like he did in Gilbert Burns, now, I'm going to stop mentioning the Gilbert Burns fight, but I'm going to talk about that in a sec. If I'm seeing Belal Muhammad control Jack Della like he did, and the stories of Belal Muhammad training with Islam Makhachev and Khabib are true, Islam Makhachev should have no problem controlling Jack Della on the ground. Now, do I believe he easily does? No, I think Jack Della Maddalena really is the truth when it comes to just MMA. But who do I also believe is more of the truth is Islam Makhachev. And I think Islam could take him down in a few different ways. And one reason Jack Della was able to defend against Belal Muhammad so well is that Belal Muhammad only offered one thing, and that was a double leg. and a high crotch. That's all Bilal Muhammad knows, how to get in and take someone down. Now, the thing with Islam Makhachev, he offers a double leg, a high crotch, a single leg. You know, Bilal Muhammad can do a single leg. You don't see it often. You just see high crotches and double legs. But Islam offers a double leg. He offers a single leg. He offers a high crotch. And then his judo comes into play, man. Islam Makhachev, Islam will have no problem failing a double leg and then going up into the tie clinch and kneeing you. And then he will clinch up against the cage, no matter if he's against the cage or you are, and he will start to do his judo. We saw it against Charles Oliveira. Very impressive. I believe we saw it a little bit against Poirier. I don't know. Even against Volk, Islam has very good judo. And that can mix things up for Jack Della and make him confused, I believe. So that's why I think Islam, the grappling, he should have the advantage. He should be able to take down Jack Della. Now, here's the thing in this fight. How it plays out, I think Islam, he will be able to take down Jack Della, but I don't think he'll be able to finish him right away. Now, Jack Della, he will be able to stuff Islam's takedowns 100%. We will see, I think, a couple times in this fight where Jack Della stuffs Islam's takedowns, or even they get on the ground, Jack Della scrambles out. Now, I'm going to talk about scrambles in a second and why those are important. But let's talk about something else, is the striking, man. Jack Della Maddalena has the crispiest boxing in the UFC. And I'm saying crispy, right? I'm not saying most powerful, but I'm saying crispiest boxing in the UFC. He has the most crispiest boxing. And I'm saying over Ilia Topuria. I'm saying over a Max Holloway, over a Dustin Poirier. Jack Della has crispy boxing. And if you look at this matchup, it's almost like Islam Makhachev is versing just a straight up bigger and better version of Dustin Poirier. And that could worry me, because if we look at that Islam Makhachev fight, I'm going to spin back a little bit here. If you look at that Islam Makhachev fight, if Dustin Poirier was able to survive the first round against Islam. And then he was able to stuff Islam's first takedown attempt in the second round and keep it on the feet that whole time, right? And man, that's definitely something I'm worried about here for Islam, right? Is he wasn't able to finish Dustin Poirier, and Dustin forced it on the feet for a lot of the fight, most of the fight. So imagine what Jack Della is going to do. So we got to keep that in mind, man. But let's go back to Jack Della's boxing. It's so good. We saw what he did to Kevin Holland. Now, that was a split decision fight. Kevin Holland made that very close. And that's why, let's talk about the striking, man. Jack Della has very good boxing, obviously. If this stays on the feet the whole fight, Jack Della's winning, man. And I really can't see Islam, knocking Jack. I could, actually, you know what? I could see Islam knocking Jack Della or wobbling him. And the reason is the head kick, man. Jack Della likes to dip back and forth, and that's going to invite the head kick. That's straight up going to invite the head kick from Islam. And I don't like when people talk about Islam like he has an amazing head kick. Yes, he knocked out Volk once with a head kick. That doesn't mean he's just going to start spamming them. But with Jack Della, the way he boxes, dipping his head side to side, the head kick's going to be there for Islam. I don't think he gets a clean connection, but I think from Islam, we're going to see a decent amount of those being thrown. And now let's talk about their speed with striking. Jack Della is definitely the faster boxer, and man, a good boxer can mess Islam Makhachev up, and we saw that with Dustin Poirier. But can Islam strike back? Yes, I think he can. I think Islam Makhachev, his boxing is very good. And at first, when I was thinking of this fight, I'm like, damn, Islam's kind of flat-footed, and Jack Della is he's bouncy a little bit, and he's just crispy with his boxing, man. And he could just pop Islam a bunch of times. But then I rewatched their fights back, and I'm looking at it like, okay, Jack Della did get touched by Bilal Muhammad a lot. Rewatch that fight, man, and you'll see Bilal Muhammad get pretty good shots on Jack Della. But that's also because of the pace. Bilal Muhammad has an amazing pace, and Islam Makhachev does not have that big of a pace as Bilal Muhammad. But now, do I think he could put on that pace? I think it's definitely possible, especially with him being at welterweight, the weight cut, not as much. He won't be as tired. And just with game plan, man. Game plan here, let's talk about the game plan. Islam Makhachev already said he's going to be wanting to go in there and grapple and try to submit Jack Della. Jack Della, he's obviously going to try to force it, keep it on the feet, getting good scrambles with Islam and get up, keep it on the feet and just outbox Islam and pressure Islam Makhachev. If you're pressuring Islam, that's a problem, and Islam does not like that, right? No one does. No one does. So yeah. Let's go back to the striking a little bit. I think if it stays on the feet, Islam Makhachev has a higher chance than people expect, because I'm seeing Jack Della getting touched up by Bilal a little bit, and even in some cases I did see him get rocked a little bit by Bilal. And I'm saying Islam definitely has a cleaner striking than Bilal Muhammad. Same amount of power, probably more power than Bilal Muhammad. And I think at welterweight we're actually going to see a faster Islam Makhachev. I only see benefits in his speed here. I really do only see benefits for his speed, man. And the more I'm thinking of this, I'm starting to think we might just see just a straight well-rounded MMA performance by Islam Makhachev. But please, guys, do not be surprised if Jack Della Maddalena goes in there and just pieces Islam Makhachev up and TKOs him. Now, my final prediction for this fight and why I'm going with it, I'm going to go Islam. I'm going to have Islam by Darce choke. I think he'll be able to Darce Jack Della. Now, let's talk about that. If I'm not mistaken, Jack Della was pretty close to getting Darce in his early UFC career, but he was able to defend it, right? Man, if Islam catches you in a Darce, you can't really defend it. Once it's in, there's nothing you can do. There's not much defense you can do against a Darce. And we've seen it before, right? We even saw Armin Sarukian get Darced by Oliveira. Now, Armin defended it, and he was fine, but he wasn't able to get out. If Armin had a chance to get out, he would have gotten out. He wasn't able to get out, but he was in a position where he was able to defend it. Like, a Darce is hard to get out of if it's done properly, and Islam Makhachev knows how to do a Darce properly. And the reason I think he's going to be able to Darce Jack Della is because of the scrambles, like I said earlier. I think this comes from an Islam taking Jack Della down. Here's how I see the fight playing out. I think they go in there. I think it's going to be slow for the first minute. I think they're going to be feeling each other out. I think we're going to see Jack Della hit Islam with a couple jabs. I think we're going to see Islam throw a couple kicks to the legs, couple kicks to the body. Now, Jack has a good teep kick, and that could be bad for Islam, actually. But then we're going to see. Now, here's the thing. I'm wondering who's going to back up here. And I think it's going to be Islam Makhachev backing up. And now that I'm thinking of it, man, I'm going back and forth with this. That's bad, man. We did see Islam Makhachev on the back foot against Moicano. And if you're on the back foot against Moicano, Jack Della can put you on the back foot. But here's what I think. I think Islam being on the back foot, I think he'll be able to time a takedown. I think when they're dry, I believe Islam will be able to time a takedown. I think he'll be able to get it. I think the first round goes Islam probably like 2-3 minutes of control time. I think Jack Della scrambles out. He gets up and they strike a little bit. I think Islam uses his tie clinch a lot. Jack Della might be able to get Islam against the cage, throw those body shots at Islam while Islam has a tie clinch, like Dustin Poirier did to Islam. It's going to be a tough first round for Islam. I think Islam will come back second round a little cleaner and start to trust in his striking more. I believe he'll be able to touch up Jack Della a lot. And then I think that takedown will come for Islam. Jack Della will try to scramble out. And the way he scrambles out, man, if you try to do that against Islam, Islam will catch your mistake. I believe Islam will get the Darce. Now, I know Craig Jones obviously is preparing Jack Della for that Darce the best he can, but I don't think there's anything you can do once it's in. I believe Islam will get the Darce in the second or third round. And don't be surprised. And or my other prediction for Islam winning is an Islam decision. A 3-2 decision similar to the Volk fight where it's close and people think it's a robbery just because they're Australian, right? But I think we could see a close fight, close competitive fight, Islam decision, and Islam using his striking, Islam striking to the finish, and Islam mixing in that grappling, getting the control time he needs, and getting the knees in on the feet, getting the leg kicks, getting the head kicks, getting his boxing going, being fast, and Islam even winning like that. So those are my first two options of what happens. My third option, man, I think Jack Della can definitely go in there and straight up put Islam on the back foot. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'll edit that out. If Islam Makhachev gets put on the back foot by Jack Della, no. If he accepts getting put on the back foot, because I think he will, Islam will get put on the back foot. And I believe that'll be early on. I believe that will be early on that Islam gets put on the back foot. If Islam accepts being on the back foot, he's going to lose the fight. And here's what I mean by that. If Islam gets put on the back foot and doesn't go for a takedown or time a good takedown, or gets put on the back foot, tries a takedown and isn't able to do it, and then loses confidence and, I can't even take him down when I'm on the back foot and he's pushing at me, Islam will lose. Now, I think if he gets put on the back foot, which I believe he will, Jack Della's going to start putting him going on the front foot, backing Islam up, circling around the cage. I believe Islam will be able to time the takedown, and with him doing that, it's going to make Jack Della a little hesitant on that. It's going to make him a little hesitant. Then we're going to have a more, okay, now they're going back and forth, whoever's on the front or back foot. Now they're both on even ground. They're both trying to cross a void. We're not having someone pressure someone mostly. We're having a nice, even striking match with Jack Della getting the better shots in, but Islam Makhachev timing the takedowns. And if you give time, if you're playing just a feint fight and a patient fight with Islam, that's all Islam wants. You're going to keep it on his timing. So I think in order for Jack Della to win here, he needs to put it on the front foot right away and straight up try to break Islam Makhachev. And do not be afraid of the takedown. Embrace the takedown, right? You know it's coming. But I think my first prediction is it's an Islam by second or third round Darce. I think he will Darce Jack Della. Jack Della has big shoulders. It'll be hard to Darce him. I think once it's in, there's nothing you can do. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment whatever you want. This fight, if Islam Makhachev wins dominantly, man, if he gets a finish here, he's the GOAT. If Jack Della wins here, I'm very excited to see what Jack Della can do in the welterweight division, because I already think Jack Della is probably he's the best welterweight. One of the best I know this is crazy to say, but Jack Della is one of the best welterweights we've seen ever. I believe if you put Jack Della against Prime Usman, I believe Jack Della wins. If you put Jack Della against, no, maybe not Prime Usman, but I believe if you put Jack Della against a lot of these guys, he wins. Jack Della's one of the best welterweights we've ever seen. Not greatest, there's a difference, right? Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment whatever you want. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this matchup, and peace out.